All right, I'd love to share some information with you. We can call it that. Now, I don't claim to be an artist, so I'm using this medium only because I can say it's speaking to me now. So I wanted to just put the images I'm getting down on paper and see if it leads me anywhere closer to this subtle connection I feel. So I'm seeing circles. Kind of feel like Bob Ross here. He's a great guy, great teacher. I think he was teaching more about meditation and a calm state that can be reached through it than he was art. But there was a lot going on there. I didn't really see it all that clearly as a kid. Now, I know, because I understand a little bit about the body, that as I practice this, like any other skill, it will improve. So I'm not getting too caught up in any one image or how my critical brain, my judgmental brain, or my judgmental part wants to criticize this and say, come on now, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't look like you planned. But stay with me. I'm just trying to allow for something, let's say, higher to work through me. Not dissimilar from remote viewing in a way, right? You know, an effective remote viewer has to really put his or herself out of the way in terms of her personality and allow for the frequency or the resonance to connect with the higher, so they can have a clear message, or be a clear transmitter of the message, I should say. Right? So for some reason, I've been connected to this idea of remote viewing of this activity. And so I'm very interested. I always have been interested in ESP and remote viewing. If you haven't seen the banned TED Talk on Russell Targ, and you're interested in remote viewing as a science, I recommend that TED Talk. So, just kind of, and for me, because I really don't know myself as well as I would like, I have to constantly remind myself that to get out of my own way, right? It's a moment-to-moment experience. And so what the other kind of message that I woke up this morning in my head was, what would it be like to really have faith? I don't want to, I'll use that word. It may not mean exactly what you think it means, and I don't know exactly what it means either, but what would it be like if I could have faith that the higher forces, or God, or my higher power could actually lead me or direct me throughout the day, moment by moment? What would I be capable of? how many people would I influence if I were just allowed myself to be under the influence of a higher force or higher energy? So the faith, I say the word faith because that comes in when I need to return, or if I need a boost of energy, I'll say, if I need some reassurance that I can be led by the higher, if I engage whatever I think of as faith, it acts as a support, right? So my faith, whatever that means to me, helps me believe in the moment that I can be led by a higher power or the force that's greater than me. For me to think that I can control everything that happens to me in my day is a delusion, something that I fought with maybe all my life, other than those beginning years when I lived in my essence. So if I'm getting a different energies kind of shifted just now. And so if that happens, I can just come back to what would it be like if I could live my day directed by a force greater than myself? What would that be like? So I want to know right now. I'm not talking about later, and I'm not reminiscing about anything in the past, that's for sure. I'm really just coming back to, a tone, right? If I hit, a singing bowl for that tone, and it just comes back. It resonates, reminding me that I'm already connected. I'm connected right now. So sometimes, my mind will take me off the track, or my emotions, or even my body might derail me for seconds, minutes, sometimes much longer. I know I have friends and acquaintances that, and as myself too, there have been months connected together, or even years, when I realized after the fact that I wasn't really allowing myself to be that receiver and transmitter of higher energy, resonating on a higher frequency. So that gives me a little bit of strength right now to know that I'm here. Something has kind of brought me back to this moment, and without condemning myself, without blame, without judgment, inner criticism. So, I think maybe some color is needed. And, coming back to this moment, returning, because, the energy flows away and it flows toward us. So it's almost like a breathing, right? So what would it be like if I could let that higher force direct my day? What would visualize it? As we do that, as I do that, I'm putting myself in the posture to receive this force. I'm kind of making myself passive in a way, in a sense, to something higher than me. So I don't know. Maybe this exercise has come through, or is coming through me, or is connecting to me, because you need to see this. You need to see this this action, right? It's not about the I'm just going to fix the music here because it is not happy at this moment. So I'm sorry for that delay. So, right, I lost track. I got distracted. I got thrown off by that interruption. But what if, right, that was supposed to happen? Accepting this, or having faith that I'm being guided by a higher power, a force greater than me. That means that sometimes I can't see it, I can't recognize it, but I can step out of the way when I come back to myself. I can visualize, what does that mean? What direction am I getting right now? So I ask myself, if I could step out of the way and make myself a little more passive, a little more receptive to something higher than myself, what would that be like? So I don't know, right? I don't know what that would be like. I'm just posturing myself as if I knew. And without the judgment, that's enough. Without the inner criticism, the inner critic going at me, which I'm all too familiar with, without that noise in the background, I can allow myself to be open to that which is higher. So that's these concentric circles and smaller circles, they feel right. I'll put it that way. So in this image is just speaking to me, or rather, I got this image when I woke up this morning before my meditation. So I just saw these concentric circles, very small ones and very large ones. Passing, moving. There's all this movement, and if I were an artist, maybe I could convey that better. But that's okay, right? I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to not do something because of that inner voice, that inner criticism. Probably comes from my past as a kid. I mean, that was a force greater than me. My parents, my family, my extended family, my social circle, as I moved into the world. All these things are influences greater than myself. But over time, you start to sharpen your receptivity and feel, wow, I can make some barriers here. I could draw some boundaries, and from there, clear out unnecessary forces. So there's room to receive, because if I let myself be filled up with what everybody else wants for me, or if I'm completely buried in how people are going to perceive me, there really is no, I find there's no room for myself. So so that I'm kind of relating that back to, yeah, if I allowed my critical voice to say, Ken, you're not an artist. You have no right to be filling this pad up with this page up with art. But I know now that that's not true. That's not important. What's important is sharpening or posturing this vehicle I have, this earthly vehicle I have, to pass information along, to receive it from something higher, and hopefully pass it along to you. We have a purpose, I like to believe, in this life. And just like everything else, like energy, it's always going to change. So you have to be open, and you have to be willing to change. I do, for myself. And if I don't get too caught up in it, and even in the details, logistics, if I can just have some faith that I'm being guided by something higher, it's okay. I think that's what makes life today, for me, so interesting and exciting, is that I don't really know where it's going to lead. But with a belief that I can always come back to this moment and reposture myself in a way that gets me on track again, that's exciting, because this journey is revealing so many amazing, I don't like to use words associated with religions, so I'm trying to avoid that. So that's a little difficult, because I grew up with the influence of that higher force of religion in my life. So it's hard, and I guess that's okay too, but there's an excitement, and there is I like the surprise, when life gets, life has been boring at times, or banal, mundane, and I always tell my youngest son that if life seems boring, well, it was in the context of school. I said, if school, it seems boring, class seems boring, it really means you're being kind of directed to go deeper, to go kind of reversing the movement of attention inwards, as opposed to the way it usually moves is, from us out, from me, the center, outward into the world. So if I'm feeling bored and uninspired, I can take control of that, as opposed to blaming it on, the teacher or the lack of inspiring content. I can take control of that and bring the focus of attention toward myself and say, what do I need to do right now? What's being revealed to me in this moment? Because I'd like to say, or my faith, my belief, my experience is that if you look deeper, there is something miraculous being revealed to us in each moment. It's just that I have so much noise, so many kind of wavelengths or frequencies resonating, jumbled up, and it looks like white noise, right, that you could see on the old television screens when I was a kid, after they stopped broadcasting at night. That's kind of how my spirit can be sometimes, which is understandable. You know, it's hard these days to stay awake. We have a lot of influences around us, a lot of noise, and since we're energetic beings, we are subject to their influence. So I have to remind myself, you know, don't be too hard on yourself, Ken. It's just get out of the way of yourself. How can I do that? And I don't have the answer, but I can receive the answer in a moment, and I can pass it along. So I don't have to hold on to it or worry that I'm going to forget. I think that I just need to remind myself when I do come back to this moment that what would it be like to put myself in a posture to receive energy on a finer level, on a different frequency, and just opening myself up to that possibility means that I'm making myself available to receive that. So, you know, this drawing that got me here in front of the camera today, I don't think it will be finished. But I did want to share it, and I wish for you an amazing day. It's a beautiful fall day. So I wish that for you as well, that I can be led today by a force higher than myself, and see what it reveals. See the miracles happen. See deeper and go deeper. And I'm going to be stepping out of the way of myself today and keep coming back like a breathing, returning as often as necessary. So have a good day.